The Angry Chicken is a production of amove.tv. Check out Amove TV for more podcasts covering Blizzard games. And for more of Jocelyn's gaming podcasts, visit jossplays.com. The Angry Chicken is brought to you by our legendary patrons over at patreon.com/TAC.
Time's up. Let's do this.
Legendary!
You face Jaraxxus. You smell like a leopard gnome. I knew it. So hot.
A podcast about Hearthstone and Battlegrounds. Wait, what's Battlegrounds?
I'll explain later. Just keep going.
This is The Angry Chicken!
Greetings, welcome back everyone. This is indeed TAC. I'm Garrett, here as always with Jocelyn after a lovely American Thanksgiving that takes place at the correct time of year, unlike my co-host Jocelyn.
Oh, come on, get out.
I will still be eating turkey leftovers because that's what happens with Thanksgiving in quarantine. You have no one else to share your turkey with.
So you have turkey right through Christmas? Sounds good.
Pretty much. There's probably a question. Somebody out there is, a chef and knows how long things are good for and is probably pretty queasy. Yeah, this is it's gonna be a fun show today. We got a good show for you because we have a first time ever appearing guest host here on The Angry Chicken. You may know him from his stream. You may know him from Fade to Karma. I think we're slowly checking off every single Fade to Karma Hearthstone streamer and team member.
There's a lot.
there's a few, yeah. Or you may know him from his awesome YouTube videos covering basically every deck you could ever want to learn how to play. Dekkster is joining us today. Welcome to the show, dude.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, of course.
I guess we met the first time this year, right before the entire world closed down forever.
Yeah, Summit, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, the summit that we weren't allowed to talk about while we were there, and then we got to talk about it after the fact.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't.
Didn't know that'd be the last event that we'd attend.
Oh my God.
Jeez. Yeah. I remember getting home and then hearing that the whole, pandemic thing was serious. And I was just like, I was just on a plane. Am I going to die?
Yeah.
I was freaking out a little bit. Cause I always get sick when I go on a plane every time, like clockwork, but we're not here to talk about 2020 as a whole. Although maybe a little bit, but it'll be Hearthstone related and less so, scary things that you can contract on planes. We're here to talk about Hearthstone, which has been pretty damn interesting, which has a lot of subtext in it over the last few weeks. Depends on where you get your Hearthstone news, where you interact with the Hearthstone community. You might, your mileage may vary with how positive or how not positive your Hearthstone coverage may be. But at the end of the day, we're still playing Hearthstone. And there's a lot to still wrap our heads around since we are now, is it officially, I guess, week 3 of post Dark Moon expansion release. So
is that all it's been? It feels like so much longer. I was ready for you to say week 5 or 6. Like, honestly,
I know Dekkster. I don't know if you play other games besides Hearthstone. Do you jump around? Do you play other games a little bit?
I don't really have time to play other games. I mostly just play Hearthstone and make videos, and that's it.
I understand that, but I know Joss, you're like me. You bounce around a little bit. You play other games, and even if you just play like other Blizzard games, what I primarily do when I game hop, there's just a lot going on everywhere.
Yeah, it's been a busy month.
And then if you are even, a little bit outside of that and you're into like AAA, like big time tentpole games, Valhalla just came out. You got Cyberpunk, in 2 weeks, if it doesn't get delayed again.
10 days or so. Yeah.
So it just kind of feels like if you're a little tapped into gaming as a whole, there's just a ton happening right now. And I didn't even mention new consoles, but because of that, it does feel like a little bit like it's been longer for Dark Moon Fair. But I don't know, at the same time, like we're gonna talk a bit about decks in the meta today, Dekkster, but it feels to me like overall it hasn't been it hasn't gotten figured out too quickly. Although to this week, it feels like it more or less we've finally settled. I mean, deck lists are still changing around, but I feel like we have our archetypes for the expansion.
Yeah, I feel like it's the meta feels solved, at least in higher legend ranks. I think outside of that, it's a little different. Like I heard people complaining about like Ticketus Warlock, and I was not seeing any Ticketus Warlock. I think I've played against like 2 or 3 maybe. And people are like, "Oh, nerf Ticketus." I'm like, I haven't seen Ticketus.
This
so
week,
I don't know.
This week, people were.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen Ticketus complaints since like day 5 of the expansion.
I was gonna say that feels like a week 1 thought.
Maybe I've lost track of time. I do double streams. I sleep, I don't know, like 4 hours a day, and I stream a lot. So I feel like it's been out for 2 months already.
That's a good. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But I guess we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. It's your first time on the show, so we kind of, for folks listening that may be unfamiliar with you, we'd like to get to know you. So, like, what's your card game resume? Is Hearthstone your first TCG?
Yeah, it is. I mean, I used to play Pokemon. I played Pokemon, but I just kind of bought cards and I would just collect them and look at them. And then,
that was
so less playing, more shinies.
yeah. And same thing with Yu-Gi-Oh. I would just buy packs. I guess I was kind of scummy because I would like weigh the packs and see which ones weighed more. And then I would keep those and I would sell the other ones back to get more money to buy more packs. But I didn't really play the game.
Yu-Gi-Oh! You could weigh the packs? I wasn't aware of this.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, if you get a scale and you can weigh how many grams or whatever, and if it's slightly higher, that means there's probably like aluminum in it and it's a holographic.
Oh my god!
Wow,
I did
that
not
is
realize
next
you could
level.
do that. I did not realize you could do that in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, so I never really played the TCGs. I kind of just collected. Hearthstone is the first one I've actually really started playing, and I played before Nax. And then I never played after Nax came out. And then I stopped playing. I started playing like Counter-Strike and WoW. And then I came back when Ungoro happened. And then I've been playing ever since Ungoro. And that's when I started my content creation career.
Okay.
That was a good time to start. That was like the introduction of Discover. Like that was a good time. That was a good meta.
I love it. I miss it. I still think that's my favorite. That whole year, I think it was Year of the Mammoth. That is fantastic.
I recently got the quest to like play a bunch of massive, I think 7 mana or more minions. So I went to Wild for the first time in a long time and just like played a big druid deck. And I ended up on the Ungoro map and I was like, oh my god, I missed this expansion. I should play Wild more. But then I saw the same combo deck 3 games in a row at rank 25.
Yeah, Wild's fun for a little bit until you run into that.
Yeah,
everything's just so broken.
It's the power level's a little high. It's a little high over there, but
oh yeah.
So if Wild's not your favorite mode, then where do you actually spend most of your time in Hearthstone? Constructed only, battlegrounds, all over the place? What you doing?
Constructed only right now. I mean, before the expansion came out, I was picking up duels. I actually really liked duels. I was playing it a ton. It kind of made Hearthstone fun again. I don't know. The meta got stale, and then duels came out, and I was playing the crap out of that. And then the new expansion came out, and I wanted to play when there's a new meta. When things aren't solved, that's like the most fun time for me. So I was like, all right, I love duels, but there's a new meta. I want to play standard. When standard gets solved, then maybe I'll switch back to duels. But I don't really touch battlegrounds or arena, the forgotten game mode.
No, we don't talk about that one here.
Yeah.
I feel bad for arena players, but they probably stopped listening by now. It's truth. It's truth, man. Truth. So, well, that's the vibe. Like I get, following you. Like I said, I mostly watch your stuff on YouTube. So that's definitely a vibe I get over there. And lately it's been a wealth of, it's this deck that I'm too lazy to go figure out how to play on my own. I'm going to watch Dekkster play it and figure it out. So
yeah, I'm constantly changing it up. I don't really play good decks per se, like top tier decks. I like doing well with like bad decks or just making bad decks semi-viable.
You say that
that's where I find fun.
Yeah, you put the new Evolve Shaman on my radar, which...
Well, that was okay. In the beginning of an expansion, I do play like things that I know are going to be good before they become seen as like evil by the masses. So like,
So you're a Hearthstone hipster.
Essentially, I guess. Yeah. 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 But yeah, like I know Evolve Shaman and Totem Shaman, they seem strong. Like I better play them now, get a video out now before everyone's like, oh, I hate you because you played Shaman, you know. Like the same with Demon Hunter. If I would have played Demon Hunter right off the bat, last expansion, it probably would have been okay. But after a couple days and everyone's just seeing Demon Hunter, they're like, come on, Dekkster, like you're better than this. You're the off meta guy. Don't play Demon Hunter. But yeah, Evolve Shaman, I feel like it's not terribly bad. People don't hate it that much, right? People hate Demon Hunter, I think.
Yeah, I feel like
still for some reason.
Well, yeah, that's so I've been beating the priest drum all year. That's kind of been my public enemy number one. But like, I'll even admit, I barely see them right now. Like,
yeah,
they're probably okay.
Yeah. Also, I'm playing shaman, so they lose every time I see them. So
right, yeah,
it's not really affecting me. But like, beginning of the year, Ashes came out. I was contending with not particularly enjoying playing Demon Hunter and having to play against it a lot. And then every time I didn't see a Demon Hunter, it was Priest. And I was just like, Priest has been doing the same thing for 2 years. I'm a little bored with it. But
yeah.
But yeah,
that's my main complaint, yeah, about the expansion, I think, is that a lot of the decks feel the same. No real new archetypes. So
yeah, I mean, to me, like, Shaman's the standout. Because I haven't really thought about them since last year when they put actual Evolve back in Standard and it became a World Championship defining card.
I was going to say something about that. I was like, Garrett, do you remember the last time we talked about Shaman? Yes. And it was Evolve Shaman and you were on it for months about how terrible it was.
It
and
was
now you're
bad.
Like, Shaman's here and they're evolving things and it's so great. Like,
it's been a year.
2019, Garrett wants a word.
It has been 365 days, basically. Okay, I think that's a long enough time to miss something. It's not like Priests who have been playing a 2/6 that kills everything I care about for 2 years straight. It's you know, it's been a while.
It feels different. It feels different than the old Evolve Shaman, I think.
Yeah,
that's why a lot of people seem to like this deck, and I think it's fine.
Yeah, that's
the
kind of
random evolve element is fun. I think.
Yeah, and there's these Demon Hunter lists that are on the same power level, right? And also, I think last time I looked at matchups, like they just eat Shaman's lunch.
They eat everything's lunch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and then also, like I Totem Shaman was my like little, you know, side deck last expansion, and so now it has Eyesore, so I'm also pleased as punch with that. But again, much like I'll admit that my priest hate has kind of died off because I'm just not seeing one. I'm like, I think I'm a little more positive on this expansion because a class that I have historically liked, except for Evolve last year, is like good again. And also I was playing Totem Shaman before it was good, so I'm a Hearthstone hipster. And now I'm glad that we have Eyesore to just put it up over the top. So,
have you played? You didn't play Control Shaman last expansion?
Nah, no.
Dang, I guess it wasn't great, but that was a deck I enjoyed a lot.
I got real hooked into Battlegrounds last expansion too, so that I really didn't mess around. I didn't explore a lot with like archetypes or get out of my comfort zone in Standard. I kind of just kept doing Paladin decks, which is my comfort zone, like historically with the game, which no one wants to hear talk about because pure Paladin hasn't really changed much since Ashes either.
Yeah. So. I don't like Paladin. Not right now. I like dual Paladin. I like dual Paladin, and I like the Murloc Paladin, and what else? Not pure, not Libram. Libram. Libram?
I always said Libram.
Jeez.
Libram.
I always say Libram.
Someone yelled at me on Twitter today for pronouncing Boba Fett the way I pronounce it. So, you know.
Do you pronounce it Boba Fett? Well,
apparently that's wrong. I guess it's Boba.
That's weird. Sounds weird.
That is quite wrong. You're definitely wrong on that.
Well, I had the action figure when I was a kid before I saw the movie, so that's what my little 3-year-old brain. That's
Baba. Baba.
So okay. So it's mostly a standard player. So where's your head at? Looking back at the full year. So you don't play too much of Battlegrounds, it sounds like, but if we're looking at the past year, that's kind of what we're looking at. We're basically looking from BlizzCon 2019 till now. How have you enjoyed Hearthstone's kind of evolution? Since
I think it's really good. I mean, I think Battlegrounds is great. I don't play it too much. I was playing it a lot until Ashes came out, but I mostly just switched because my viewership kind of forced me to, because no one would watch me play Battlegrounds, even though I was pretty good, I think. And then, it's been doing really well. I think it's brought a lot of people back to Hearthstone. It just hasn't brought them to standard. It just brings them strictly to Battlegrounds. But I guess that's still good for Hearthstone in general. It just feels like a totally different game to me. But I think they did well with that. I think Ashes was not great. I don't think Ashes was a great expansion. I think Skullomance was fantastic. I think that was a really good expansion. That was the most fun I had with Hearthstone, I think, since Year of the Mammoth. And then this expansion, I'm not too hyped about it. I thought it was going to be a lot better because of all the old gods. That's awesome. That's cool. Bring in the old gods. And then everyone's aggro. You can't play old gods. The meta's got 1 or 2 or 3 new decks. And other than that, it's about the same. I think once rotation happens, though, it'll be good. I think it's going to be good to wash out those old archetypes, get rid of Highlander, although no one's really playing Highlander anymore or anything like that, but it'll be nice. And I like duels a lot. I think duels is a fantastic inclusion. And I think Hearthstone has done most things right, aside from that one thing that people are complaining about.
It's okay to say it. You can say its name. Nothing bad will happen to you.
Yeah, I know. Before the show, we were talking, and I'm just I don't know how much I want to focus on it, but I absolutely would love to hear your take on it. I know you've probably talked about it ad nauseum on your own channels as well, but by all means, let's talk about the elephant that refuses to leave the room.
I mean, I have a YouTube video on it. If people do want to check it out, but it's I think Hearthstone just needs to be cheaper. Long story short, it's hard for people to get into Hearthstone. Has a massive barrier to entry. I have friends who want to play and they can't. They fall out. They'll get hyped about it. They'll play one expansion. Oh, this is great. Next expansion comes out and they're like, oh, I don't want to spend another couple $100 just to stay relevant. Another issue is if you fall out from one expansion and you want to come back, or maybe you missed 2 expansions, the barrier to re-entry is also really high because you still have to catch up from all the other sets. And so it's hard to recommend to your friends because it's expensive. People come in my channel, they're like, hey, should I get back into Hearthstone? I'm like, if you can afford it, yeah.
Are you independently wealthy?
yeah. Maybe try something else. I don't know, man. So, but I do like
that's an angle we really haven't focused on too much, I guess, is trying to get your friends in, kind of the social game pushing aspect of it. Hey man, come play this game with me that I love, and come be a part of this. Cause to tie it into Battlegrounds, it's a year ago now, I had never really experienced anything like that in Hearthstone. Suddenly, everyone I knew was checking it out, and we're in the game. All these people that I've never seen try Hearthstone, just because you could play Battlegrounds and be more or less on an even footing without spending a cent. I mean, you spend a little money, you get access to more heroes, but it was wild. And Joss and I have been playing this game since beta, and just really never seen that many people be like, oh damn, I'm gonna go check out Hearthstone. It would have been nice if they could have continued riding that wave of accessibility.
Right. Yeah, I agree. So it seemed like they were going the right direction. And then the Tavern Pass thing, which kind of made the game a little more expensive, making the barrier to entry higher, right? So I think if they just fix that, like that'd be great. I do like the achievements. I like the map and, you know, clicking things to get rewards. Like that's great. They just need to they need to do something. Double the experience or bring back gold for wins or something. And then I think people would be happy and I think people would come back.
Yeah. Like it's, I was even talking about on Twitter this week where I'm like, I'm just kind of like, I'd like to go to the Reddit and see anything else being discussed, but at the same time, I'm not seeing too many absurd demands. I feel like most people are requesting pretty reasonable things.
Yeah.
Obviously not getting into people who are harassing members of the development team or even streamers for that matter. But like for the most part, I don't know. I think people are kind of have their head on straight on this topic.
Yeah.
So,
They're being mostly reasonable.
yes. Yeah. So it's just, and then at the same time, it's just like, I don't know. Like, I think this is what a lot of content creators in the space are contending with. It's like, I can't just keep talking about this one thing. It's like, I'm still playing the game. I'm still having a good time. Like, you know, like me specifically, I've always been a paid player. So like my experience hasn't really changed that much. I wasn't that dependent on the gold in the first place. So
yeah. Like, I mean, I'm kind of upset about that change, but I still love Hearthstone. I'm still going to keep playing Hearthstone. And hopefully they change that and fix it. Because I mean, if people leave Hearthstone, that means less people are going to watch my content. And that's bad.
Yeah.
I want more viewers, not less viewers. So hopefully they fix it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a thing for sure. But I'm glad you brought up rotation because I haven't honestly been thinking about it with everything that's been going on.
Yeah, and before we even get to rotation, we still have 35 cards coming out with the mini expansion, which like the conversation has veered way far away from. Like it's being brought up a little bit in terms of cost, but like there's going to be a huge meta shakeup kind of in 6 to 8 weeks, maybe like sometime early 2021. That's pretty crazy.
I'm excited for that. Yeah, they haven't really said anything about it. Right?
No, and I mean, it feels like the expansion was forever ago, but that's just weird timey-wimey 2020 stuff. But they're like, it has only been a few weeks, but like it's coming soon-ish, right? Because it's going to be halfway through the expansion cycle. So
I would assume, yeah, that makes sense to come halfway through the expansion cycle. I mean, I also, it's kind of weird. I think historically there's been a patch for the new expansion at least within every 2 weeks of an expansion coming out. And they haven't talked about anything. So this is weird. I'm wondering if they're just not going to patch this time because of the mini set. That's definitely going to shake things up.
Mm.
Are
there any like big, are there any big outliers that you're seeing that you think need nerfing, buffing, patching?
I think just a small patch to Demon Hunter would make things a lot better. I'm not sure. I'm
always down for that. Nerf them into the ground, delete them. I'm down. Do it.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. Like, I think it might be Twin Slice might be the issue. Even if they just revert Twin Slice back to like 0 mana, like that might be fine. But I think Demon.
Am I tunnel vision with my like rage against Eldrachi Warblades?
No, Eldrachi's pretty annoying. The thing is, there's also like that tokeny aggro Demon Hunter, which doesn't use Eldrachi at all.
That is
so I'm just trying to think of one nerf that can hit both archetypes as opposed to destroying Demon Hunter completely. And I think that
would also be okay.
I would be okay with that, yeah. But I think if they could nerf Eldrachi, I mean, I'd be fine with that. I don't play Demon Hunter. I've played.
Didn't they nerf it once already?
Yeah,
it used to cost 0 mana. Now it costs 1.
Yeah,
it was 0 mana.
2 attack now, right? And it used to be 1 attack.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Sorry. Yeah. So they increased the cost, but they also increased the attack.
Right. So it's kind of a buff because you could also get it from Wand Maker and Cobalt Spellkin.
You got both Ridiculous Hat and Jonathan Vigil talking DH smack in the chat room.
I gotta open the chat. I love those guys. But yeah, just getting rid of Demon Hunter, I think would be good because I think Demon Hunter suppresses like the innovative decks. You can't play a slow deck. You can't play a fun deck or a meme deck because you're gonna die to Demon Hunter in 5 turns. But I also think
you can die to Demon Hunter in no turns if you just concede when you see them.
That's true. That's probably a better
next
use of your
level
time.
strat.
No.
Yeah.
I don't like this. I don't like this, Dekkster. You're fueling all of Jocelyn's most the strongest opinions.
Yeah, Dekkster and I are best friends now. That's how it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think a lot of people don't like Demon Hunter, so I think it's fine if they destroy Demon Hunter. That's all right.
They have not really clicked for me, and I usually I am the first in line to get down with what I think is kind of a silly, straightforward deck to play that gets wins. I'm like, cool, sign me up. I'm gonna just farm wins, and I don't like playing them, and I don't really like playing against them. So
yeah,
there's been some more interesting things. I like the shard demon hunters that have come out because at least there's a little bit more to it. But this new aggro deck is concerning for sure.
I mean, I think Demon Hunter is great, but I think the problem is Demon Hunter is great because it's consistent and it's really good, and every other class is not. So I think if other classes could match the consistency of Demon Hunter, it'd be better. Otherwise, they need to ruin the consistency of Demon Hunter. Just being able to cycle, constantly find what cards you need. It seems like they always top deck the right card, but that's just because there's
nothing left in their deck but that card.
Yeah.
They drew their whole deck.
Yeah. So that's I think that's where nerf is due. I also think Shaman has an issue too. I don't know exactly what card in Shaman could be touched in order to kind of ruin it. It does seem like the Custodian has brought Shaman to the forefront. I think it's ran in every good Shaman deck right now.
So, yeah, the trend, it seems like now with this discussion, is consistency, right? Because that's what the Custodian brings to Shaman, is consistently finding the weapons that you need.
Yeah.
And it works in the 2 most popular archetypes right now, whether you're doing the new Evolve or Totem.
Right. Or Enhancement.
Oh, that's right.
That's
right.
Sorry.
Yep.
I like Enhancement.
I keep pretending that one doesn't exist. I'm sorry. I actually think it's really cool. I think it's really cool. It's just it's just not giant totems, and it doesn't make me giggle. So I haven't been playing.
Well, it might make you giggle. Maybe you're not playing the right one.
Yeah.
I'm giggling. I was playing it earlier today. It's cool.
That's fair. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is a pretty overarching statement, but if you could take Shaman and Demon Hunter and make them more inconsistent, or take everyone else and make them less consistent, or make the other classes more consistent, would you rather it go one direction or the other?
I'd rather everything be consistent and the game be based on skill rather than luck. And when a deck isn't consistent, sometimes you just need luck to draw the right card. You need you're playing Priest. You need Penance to kill this Demon Hunter and you get it. Okay, now you win, right? I don't know. So it's just I don't know. The randomness. If randomness could go down. But it's hard because people like the randomness. So I understand why it's there. Getting an evolve into a rattle gore, you're so happy, you're through the roof, right? But then if you evolve it into, what's the worst 9-drop? I don't know. Evolve it into something bad, you feel awful, but your opponent feels happy. So the randomness is good, but it's also bad.
Yeah, it's something that's come up on this show for damn near 7 years now. Is just there's this balancing act of the RNG in Hearthstone because it's kind of its identity, but it over the course of all of the different metas that have existed over the history of the game, there's been more RNG versus less RNG, and there always kind of seems to be this balancing act of how much or what type or what the range of the randomness is okay or is healthy or conducive to a fun play environment. And it
seems like right now we're way down the too much road. Like there's a big ranges on a lot of cards and a lot of classes, and yet they're still viable, which means you're seeing it a lot. So yeah, I think there's too much right now, but it creates those super fun moments. Like when you do things like spin the Yogg wheel, like that's crazy, but really fun.
Jocelyn, when are you living long enough to spin the Yogg wheel?
Well, yeah, that's the one you get to do it part.
Yeah, so just nerf Demon Hunter, and then we'll see the old gods. And I think that would make the expansion great.
I'm sorry, Joss, did you just agree that there's too much randomness, and then you said the solution would be more people getting to live to play Yogg?
Well, but like, I think like Yogg is, yes, he's random, but he's got like 5 outcomes, technically 6, but the 6th is so small that, and I wish that the 6th didn't exist, but it does. So whatever. But it's like the things that can happen it's like 6 things versus like, get a random mage spell. Like, okay. Like the range of the mage spells is huge, right? And when you have a deck that plays like 18 of its cards that generate other random things, like that's too much, I think, because then it's like you're hardly even playing against a deck. Like you're like, okay, I'm playing against mage. That could be literally anything, regardless of how they build their deck, because they just get random on top of random on top of random minions and spells and everything. And you're just like, how do I even plan for this? Like, how do I play my deck against a deck that's entirely random? Like, that's not fun. That's too much, too far.
I agree. I'm glad they nerfed evocation. That made the meta a lot better, I think.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I don't disagree. I don't have much to add to that. So, yeah, which again comes back to, I'm glad you mentioned rotation, because I hadn't been thinking about it with all the drama going on. And usually this time of year, we're kind of starting to think about it and think about the things that we're going to be saying goodbye to, like 2 6s and priests that destroy my hopes and dreams, for example. But yeah, there's that extra set, which I do. I mean, say what you will about the teams being quiet because of the backlash. Like, yes, that is true, but also I think 3 weeks post expansion is too early to be talking about that new set.
Oh yeah.
Whether or not they're clamming up or not.
Well, and Worlds is coming, right? So we've got in like 10 days, we've got World Championships. So, I mean, we're probably not going to hear about any major changes, whether that's patches or the new card set, until all that's said and done. And then I think probably something will happen at Worlds and they'll go, oh no, and then we'll get a patch. And then, we'll get information about the set after that.
Or when's the BlizzCon? Online BlizzCon?
February.
BlizzCon Which I feel like that's kind of late, unless they pull the like, hey, it's playable on Tuesday. Here's the 35
That's
cards,
what they did with Battlegrounds.
They might. Yeah, they might.
Yeah.
I mean, that was going to be duels, right? Like, duels was going to be what was announced at BlizzCon this year, and it was going to be playable on the floor. And then, surprise, early access if you pre-order the next expansion. But we didn't have that. So, February would be late. For something that's never happened before, by the way. So, who knows? We have nothing to base it off of. But, because we got... When did Ashes come out? Load faster Hearthstone website. I already forget. That was April?
Great radio right now.
I don't know what's happening on the website, but everything other than
Ashes was April.
Other than Dark Moon is so far off the left I can't see it. I'm having some weird bug with the Hearthstone website right now. So it was April. Okay, yeah. So
yeah, it's always been April, August, December, until what just happened right now. This was mid-November.
Yeah, they just threw the November wrench in the mix.
And then BlizzCon line has been announced for February 19th and 20th.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be quite 2 months if we were still on the same track for like an April, new standard year, first expansion of the year release. So yeah, I have to imagine it'd be coming out before then.
I think it'd be before that. And I think at BlizzCon, they'd probably announce the next expansion. Yeah. which I don't think they want to announce the next expansion and release a set of cards at the same time.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think that seems like a lot, but I feel like if they wait much longer after BlizzCon, like, I don't know, BlizzCon line is such a big thing, right? Like, it's such a big event. We're hoping, I don't know. So I feel like that, yeah, that's the place for expansions. Because I think if they just talked about the new expansion and also the mini expansion, that might confuse people. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Because, we can't handle 18 deck slots. So how are we going to handle 2 different expansions announced at once?
You're very cheeky today, Joss.
I'm sorry.
It's almost like we're talking about the year as a whole and you're being reminded of your Demon Hunter hate.
That's it.
That's
It's
okay.
Honestly, you get me talking about Demon Hunter and I get so angry that I just can't help it. All the snark just comes right out.
I cannot wait for the day where you just join them, where you finally just have some sort of snap and I come to a new episode of The Angry Chicken. What'd you play this week, Joss? And you just go, well, I got my golden Demon Hunter portrait. I'm like, what? All right, cool.
Never.
I'm just waiting for that.
You got to get the achievement.
No,
So-
that thing is staying at level 20 forever.
Well, while we're guesstimating and dreaming about what is to come, we're actually getting new game modes added to Hearthstone, which up until end of last year was pretty rare. Before Battlegrounds, it was Tavern Brawl. Now, in a year's time, we've had 2 added to the game. Is there anything that you've been hoping for? Do you have a top of your wish list for a different format of Hearthstone to play?
I think I haven't given this too much thought since Duels came out, but I think something like Slay the Spire would be great. I guess Slay the Spire is kind of Duelsy in a way. You're upgrading your deck after every couple fights, but I think they could lean even more into that. For me, the dream would be something that looks different. My main problem, because I play so much Hearthstone, it's like if I want to chill and play a game, I don't want to play Hearthstone. I can't go and play Battlegrounds because it looks just like Hearthstone. Like it's the same board, kind of. All the art looks the same, and I guess that makes sense. But I feel like if they could do something different visually, that would just be a good breath of fresh air for me. So I think Slay the Spire, the style of it, something like that,
like the side
great.
view with the little animated characters instead of the static ovals.
Yeah, but I feel like that's probably not going to happen. It's probably going to look just like Hearthstone.
I feel like
Hey, Hearthstone, just make little 3D models. What's your problem?
Yeah, that's a lot. That'd be real expensive, but I could dream.
That would be very neat. And it's not like they don't have models laying around from other games based in this universe. But
yeah, just steal from the WoW team.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, let's listen in the chat
They
room.
got
Wants, Fall
such
Guys
art and
Hearthstone
everything.
edition.
Oh boy.
I would also be down. We said this before all the announcements that came out at the beginning of, or I guess in October, but I'd also be down for Hearthstone Among Us somehow.
Yeah, it seems easy to make, right?
Right?
Illidan
Yeah,
is,
come on.
Illidan is sus. Is that who would always be sus?
Yes,
Would be
no,
Illidan?
always kill him first.
Always Illidan. Illidan was not the imposter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm worried about new game modes. I feel like they're going to oversaturate how many modes there are. And then that for me, that's kind of bad because it divides the audience. So many people are torn. It's either Battlegrounds or you play ladder. There's no both. I mean, some people do both, but most people they either just do Battlegrounds or they just do ladder. And now it's there's duels, ladder, and Battlegrounds. And it's kind of split. So if they just keep splitting, they're self-cannibalizing. So I just want them, instead of constantly releasing new game modes, I'd rather they just focus those efforts on making the current ones better.
Yeah.
So do you think that they've kind of hit what you would see as the soft cap on number of sustainable game modes?
No, I mean, I want to see what happens after this next one. I'm worried if they keep doing more after this next one. might be bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to say as people who just really enjoy playing Hearthstone, because obviously we don't have all the data on the back end. Like, I have no idea what the number of Battlegrounds players versus duels players versus constructed players are. My queues, I haven't noticed them change too much. I mean, I might have gone from instant to maybe 10 seconds to maybe 20 or 30 seconds. And again, that's going to depend where on the ladder you're playing. I'm sure High Legend is probably a longer wait.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can kind of look at Twitch viewership and see usually like the first 10 channels being watched, the top channels, probably 9 of them are Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
And then the 10th might be ladder standard.
Honestly, and I'm definitely guilty of this, and mostly it's because of the kind of content I'm consuming when I'm doing other things. Like Battlegrounds, I feel like I can just have in the background. I don't have to pay attention. But if I'm watching somebody play constructed, I'm like, I need to watch every turn and every draw and every decision. And, you know, like, it's not a turn it on and tune it out sort of a piece of content. So it really depends what I'm doing. Like, I'll watch air quotes Battlegrounds all day, and then like go and seek out guides on like constructed. What am I doing? How do I do this?
Just watching Slissa.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Yeah, no, literally. I just have Slissa in the background all the time. I never tune you out, Slissa, I promise.
I think that might be a reason too why stream clips play so well on YouTube for Hearthstone specifically, is because like the searchability of it, and to go watch like a specific deck that you want to see played. But it also works for Battlegrounds because I don't know. I not that I follow a ton of other games in terms of like actually watching content on it, but I can't think of anything else where it's just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to slap up a Twitch clip and call it done. Like no one gets away with that on YouTube, but it works for Hearthstone because what people want to see is the damn deck played. And they don't really care if like you went out of your way to play it without your stream UI up so that it looks prettier. They just want to see decks get played.
Right. Yeah, I think I got it kind of easy as a Hearthstone content creator. Yeah.
No, that was not my intention. I wasn't trying to like shame you. But
I know, but like I see other people and they're like playing. I don't know if you're playing WoW. Like, what kind of content do you put out? You have to put out like.
That is the question.
I don't know.
Well, I put out a WoW podcast, but that's mostly talking heads. And you know what? It doesn't play as well on YouTube as it does on audio only platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So, and neither does this. We tried. We're like, oh, we should cut this up because we have segments, and we threw it on YouTube, and it did nothing. We went nowhere. So yeah, there's something to just like watching Hearthstone and you know, there's a big difference between passively watching a Hearthstone stream or YouTube video and like actively trying to learn something. Because like I even think like with Battlegrounds, like I'll passively have it on in the background all the time. But if I'm actually trying to learn how to play Battlegrounds better, which God, I really need to right now, because I've been focused on Standard again, and I've had some Battlegrounds quests I try to get done this week, and oh boy, I have fallen off. But I still have to pay attention because I'll notice, be like, oh crap, wait, what decisions did they make, and why did they make those decisions? I feel like you just have a longer window of time to kind of stop paying attention. But interesting thoughts. Hearthstone content creation, you know, as someone who primarily just makes podcasts about it, it fascinates me because it seems pretty unique compared to other games.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I've never really dabbled in other stuff, so that's not true. I tried Little Big Planet content creation. That was kind of the same as Hearthstone, but yeah.
That's interesting.
Little Big Planet, yeah.
That's not a game I think of. But
that's not a game I think of. Full stop.
Period. Like But
it was a good game. Have you ever played it?
No, I did.
Oh yeah, no, it's a great game.
I played quite a bit at the first two, because I remember at the time being like, games will never look better than this. Look at these textures. This is amazing.
Yeah. What I did with Little Big Planet is because people would upload their own levels, but they didn't have like capture cards or anything. I would just run through their level that they spent hours and hours on and upload a video of that onto YouTube, and they loved it. And now that's how it kind of started at Hearthstone. Was I would find people's decks that they put so much effort into, and then I would upload a video on it. So it's the same thing.
I mean,
right?
Game content in a way too is like, I'm going to play this game that hundreds of people spent years to make and make content from it. So it's like, you know, at the end of the day, it's creating from consumption, which is just fascinating in its own right. But we're getting like philosophical now into the philosophy of content creation. But yeah.
Well, and before we move like too far away from the idea of like content creation and stuff, we did have a question from our community for you, because you're pretty well known as a content creator who tends to like lift up smaller creators and take a lot of time and be very open about your content and how like the time it takes to put into it, how much you make, all that kind of stuff. So you're a very transparent creator. So can you talk a little bit about your approach to that kind of content creation and why you're so like open with your fans, and if you've seen benefits to approaching community and content that way?
I just really value transparency in general. I just think it's really good to be transparent about everything. And one of the main reasons I do that, like share my income and stuff like that, is because when I started content creation, I didn't really know like what was realistic, how much money I could make. Like, can I quit my job? You know, should I take this seriously? Is it just going to be a hobby? Like how much effort should I put into this? Will it be lucrative? And there was not really any content. I mean, now there's a lot of other people as well putting out videos about how much they make off of YouTube and Twitch. And you can definitely make a living off of it. And I didn't know that, because I always wanted to make content. Like when I was, I think it was 12 or 13, I was really good at Halo. And I recorded over my parents' wedding tape VHS.
Oh my God.
Some sick Halo montage. And I was like, wow. I want to make content. They're divorced. It's all right. So it's like, can I make
places I was not expecting.
As if it was like we asked you, hey, can we get an example of how open you are as a human being, Dex? Like,
wow.
Yeah, so, but I like just knowing that I could turn my passion and make it a career. I think that maybe I can help other people with that. That they can be like, hey, you know what? You don't need to be ninja and make a ton of money. You know, you don't need to make, have thousands and thousands of viewers all the time. You could still make a living off of having, a couple hundred. And I think I'm just trying to let that be known.
And that's it. I'm glad you're putting that out there, because it's something like we talk about a little bit. I mean, we're not just like, this is how much we made this month, but one of the main ways we make income is Patreon. It's like, it's there. You can go do the math and figure out how much this podcast is pulling down. It's public.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, I guess, I don't know. It's been a long time since we talked about it, but like, I don't know. I've, like in my other life as a like contract content creator, I do a lot of like consultation and I do videography and stuff like that outside of the video game content I produce. And it's like, we had a lot of people asking about this side of it. They're like, oh, yeah, I know of the Angry Chicken and I know of what you're making, but like, it doesn't seem like you're as big as the big dogs. And it's like, no, I'm not, but it pays the bills.
You don't
like,
have to
we're
be.
doing all right.
Like, yeah, exactly.
I call it like working class creators. It's just like,
yeah, we're the blue collar creators.
yeah. It's kind of the coin of phrase that I use for folks that aren't as aware of like what I do or how it works or how we make a living from something like podcasts. But
I think as time goes on, people realize like that you can make a living off it. Like people don't understand that you can make a living off of YouTube. Like my parents are probably like, "What? Like don't do that. Like go to school," which is fine. School's great. Go to school. But you can also do content creation.
I'll tell you what, loan officers didn't understand it either when I started trying to get a home loan for the first time. That was fun.
That's what I'm worried about.
Don't home shop the first year you're full-time content creating is my is my advice on that side of things. Because they go, wait, you had a real job and now you have this. It didn't work.
And then you start making a little bit of money and they don't know how you got it. Like, is this drug money? Like, how are you?
I'm just like, the government understands. They're accepting my checks, but why don't you understand where the money is coming from?
Yeah. Yeah. So I've been afraid. I've never applied for a loan for anything, but I'm scared.
As long as you're keeping track of things and paying taxes, you should be okay.
Oh, I pay a lot of taxes.
I would have been very concerned if your answer was anything else and it was public and recorded.
I love paying taxes.
But yeah, Slissa, I'm not saying your job isn't real. I was speaking in shorthand of how I think loan officers look at me. It's like, wait, huh? What do you do? But yeah. But that's rad. I'm glad. Thanks. You brought up so many things out inside the game and out that I've really latched onto today. It's been a fun little chat, and we haven't even gotten to the part where in bold in the show notes that says, "Has the meta settled yet?" But before we get into this week's kind of like news segment, which is a news light week, we want to. Speaking of how we make money, we want to thank those of you at home who are supporting this show. So if you're one of our patrons over at patreon.com/TAC, thank you for the support. We really appreciate it because that's how we make money on this podcast. So go check it out. If you like the show, consider chipping in $1 or $2. You'll get some perks like access to our Discord and also an ad-free version of the feed. Which, speaking of which, hey Joss, are you hoping to get your gifting done from home this holiday season?
Absolutely.
You want to avoid those malls?
Yeah, man, people are gross.
you want to get, but like, what do you want to give people? You want to like make them super comfortable, impossibly cozy, possibly?
Everyone loves being cozy, especially around the holidays in Canada. It's cold here. We already have a foot of snow on the ground. No one wants to go outside. They just want to snug.
Well, then it's so wonderful that we're sponsored today by MeUndies. They're back. Sponsoring this episode of The Angry Chicken with the softest undies you've ever covered your booty with. Also really fun prints. I don't know about you. I just got like traditional, I guess I would call it like traditional red plaid, Christmas plaid undies.
That's a holiday staple. Plaid is super in this year.
I look at it and I think of like itchy bad flannel when I was a kid, but then you put it on and you're like, this defies all logic. This is so comfortable. It's so soft.
My favorite print this year is actually, I mean, again, as a Canadian, you have to love this one. It's the ice skating moose. It's perfection.
That is so freaking good. Yeah. You should go check them out. You can also gift a membership with a MeUndies gift card. Their membership is a subscription that sends new pairs right to their door so they never run out of undies again, which is a wonderful thing and something I definitely don't want to run out of. So go check them out because on top of all of this, you can get 15% off your first order and free shipping when you go to MeUndies.com/TAC. That's MeUndies.com/TAC for 15% off your first order and free shipping. Check them out. MeUndies.com/TAC. And while we're trying to avoid the shop, Joss, would you also like to, skip the grocery store?
Oh, grocery shopping is the bane of my existence.
It's so wonderful that HelloFresh is back this week. You should check them out. Go to HelloFresh.com/TAC90. We'll tell you why in just a second. But skip the grocery store, get fresh, pre-measured ingredients and mouth-watering seasonal recipes delivered right to your door with HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. The recipes are easy to follow. They've got simple steps. And Joss, as I've mentioned before, I need pictures.
Yeah, the recipes are so easy to follow because half the time I don't know cooking words. And so it says, I guess dice is a really easy one, but no matter what words they're using, I know exactly what it's supposed to look like when I'm done doing it.
They could say complicatedly cut this and there'd be a picture. I'd just be like, okay, well, I know what the end product should look like. I really appreciate it.
Right.
On top of that, there's something for everyone to enjoy, including 20-minute meals, low-calorie vegetarian, kid-approved recipes, and more. And they help you eat more sustainably. By skipping the grocery store and using HelloFresh, you're reducing your food waste by at least 25%. The food is great, even if it's something I have sort of made before. Like next week, pork and poblano tacos are on the menu. I've made a taco at least once in my life, but there's always like a spin on it. There's always one or two or more than that elements of the dish that I would have never done on my own. So the pork and poblano tacos, not only like would I've never thought to get a poblano pepper in the first place, but it also has kiwi salsa and lime crema. I would have never gone out of my way to make a kiwi salsa or even thought to buy a kiwi on top of the other things I would need to make a salsa to even put on tacos. They always surprise me, even when it's something I can like, oh yeah, I've had tacos before. I've had burgers before. There's always extra bits that really just knock it out of the park. And not only make my taste buds happy, but I get to impress my wife when I cook dinner because HelloFresh showed me pictures the whole way. So go check them out. Go to HelloFresh.com/TAC90 and use the code TAC90 to get $90 off, including free shipping. Again, that is $90 off, including free shipping when you go to HelloFresh.com/TAC90 and use the code TAC90. We thank them for their support. We thank you for supporting the brands that support us here on The Angry Chicken.
Good news, everyone!
All right, so as someone who does not play every deck under the sun or actively search out, as you put it, Dekkster, bad decks to see if they can actually work or not, since you're on, I wanted to ask, has the meta settled yet? Because I haven't run out of new decks to go try yet. So to me, it feels like it's still in flux, even if my matchups feel pretty settled.
If I feel like it's kind of settled quicker than expansions usually do, which is kind of what I gauge it off of. I mean, if I can't constantly play 30 different meme decks that are semi-viable, I feel kind of bored. So I kind of have like ADD in that sense. But if I can't play a fun deck, I just don't like the meta. And right now I feel like I've ran out of fun decks. I'm already starting to recycle ideas like Tonk Hunter, right? It's kind of viable. No one really plays it, but it's not good. But all you see at higher ranks is Demon Hunter. And I think that's just the issue. I mean, we're just going to go back to bashing on Demon Hunter.
Yeah.
So much Demon Hunter. It's Demon Hunter, Shaman, and Warrior. If you get into higher legend, that's all you see. But pocket metas are going to be different. You're going to see something else. If you're outside of legend, you can win with a lot of meme decks because people just make mistakes. So just make less mistakes and then play something fun that's not Demon Hunter and you'll be all right.
Such a nice way of saying, just get good. Like, come on. Then get up to where I am and you just play Demon Hunter. It's like, that's not a real good goal. Get up to the place in the ladder where all I see is Demon Hunter.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of Paladin too. A lot of Paladin.
Yeah.
So what do you think is going to be kind of most prevalent? I know the tournament meta is a little bit different than the ladder meta, obviously, because there's going to be a whole lot of aggression on the ladder as people just try to climb, whereas the tournament meta is maybe a little bit more nuanced. But are we assuming it's going to basically be Warrior, Demon Hunter, Shaman, maybe Paladins?
I don't really keep up with like the competitive scene. Usually if someone comes in my chat and they're like, hey, what I want to play, a qualifier or something, like what decks do I choose? I usually just respond with, I don't know.
Good stuff.
No, just I don't know, and then I move on. But it's like I would guess, again, I don't really play anything competitive, but I would assume you're going to see a lot of ETC OTK, a lot of Broom Paladin, like the Libram Paladin, and probably a lot of like Soul Demon Hunter. That's what I think you're going to mostly be seeing. Those three decks. Am I missing anything? It's probably going to be that. Like Rogue's got a good deck, but I haven't played Rogue because the new deck only has 4 new cards, and that's 2.
Yeah, and they're not like the stars of the deck either. It's not like it has drastically changed the way that the deck plays.
Yeah, so I haven't really touched that Rogue deck. Hunter's pretty good. Highlander Hunter. It actually has a decent amount of new cards. So
yeah, I wanted to bring it up. I think much earlier in the show when you were talking about how Highlander decks are going to get knocked out, but most people aren't playing them. I'm like, well, that except for Highlander Hunter, it's just been a constant. Much the same way we've been talking about Priest, we've been talking about Libram Paladin. Highlander Hunter has just been in the meta basically nonstop.
And that's because it's consistent, because as Polk out to pull Bran on 7. That's why it's so good. But yeah, I forgot about Highlander Hunter. Highlander Hunter is great. And I'm okay with it. I might miss Highlander Hunter.
Yeah, and it found like multiple new cards kind of found a home in it pretty quickly as well, if you're looking to spice it up just a little bit.
Yeah.
But again, you're still...
You can pull it up on that scene you have.
Oh, yes, I could. I could do that. Thank you for reminding me.
Podcasting pro over here.
Yeah. I didn't bring up an actual deck list, but it's the core cards and the popular cards. This is always the problem with trying to show Highlander lists, is they're so freaking long.
Yeah, I've ran into that issue as well. Rifle's great. I like Rinling's rifle. It's a lot of fun.
Damn it! I thought we were going to make it through the conversation without talking about it.
Thank you. Jocelyn took a strong stance thinking it was going to be too slow, and I was like, I don't agree with you, Joss, when we were previewing the cards. And
I thought it was great.
It came out swinging and making secrets, and
I blame Regis. He led me wrong.
You blame Regis. You can't blame Dekkster's roommate, Jocelyn.
Yeah,
you can't.
I can blame him. I blame him for everything.
I realize we're like officially out of the interview portion, but could you explain that joke to me, because I don't know where it came from?
Well, he's my roommate. My roommate is Regis Kilbin, and he charges really high rent, and that's it. That's the story.
That's the story. Okay.
That's the story. There's not much to it.
The story is it's still
but every now and then, I'll yell at him across the hall, and he'll yell back at me, and that's it. That's it. There's not much to it.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, a lot of the conversation already this episode has been kind of how the meta has settled, and it does feel like it has. Joss, I feel like, because we had obviously Dekkster's here this week, and then we had the most raucous episode ever last week with the Night Attack dudes. What have you been playing? Like, what's been your go-to, Joss?
So I've mostly been playing either the Evolved Shaman or the Pure Paladin, although I haven't tried it yet. I was kind of waiting for people way smarter than me to figure it out. But I am so stoked for Dude Paladin, because I loved it back in the day, and it's getting up there with like win rates. So I think I might be diving into that next. Like that's definitely on my list of things I want to try, because I was so on the fence about if it was going to work or what was actually going to happen with it, because it seemed to kind of come out of nowhere in this set with the kind of support for it, that I was like, oh, we're going back to this. Okay. And I thought maybe it would be kind of a wild only sort of thing, but I'm really looking forward to giving this a try. I haven't seen too many people playing around with it. I've mostly just been running into people trying to, like, whether they're playing Demon Hunter or not, there just is a lot of aggression, like on ladder in general. People trying to climb because I'm not at Legend. So and also it's the start of the month, right? So people want to get their games in and out fast as possible. Let's go get those stars. So mostly it's just been like Demon Hunters and people smashing my face. And so I haven't seen too much of this, but I'm excited to give it a try. I mean, it runs Urel, which like she's not as maybe good as we thought she was gonna be. Like we're thinking Ziliax 2.0 kind of thing when she was announced, but I mean, this Paladin deck runs her, so I'm kind of stoked. Yeah,
she's a little slow. You don't get to live to see her.
Yeah, you need that lifesteal sooner than turn 8. In the meta right now. But I mean, if you're enjoying Libram Paladin, I mean, this is basically the Libram skeleton with, recruit
with dudes
put in. Yeah, dudes.
That Carnival Barker is huge.
Mm-hmm.
He's a really good card. So I think that that turns all your dudes into bigger dudes, So if you have a Lothraxian down and then you play Carnival Barker and do a couple air raids, you got a massive board with Divine Shield, which a lot of people cannot deal with easily, except for warriors and priests and warlocks
But I mean, like priests and warlocks and warriors are not necessarily, you know, what you're seeing. You just have to live through the decks that you are seeing. Sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's anecdotal. That's my experience. Like, I think you will see warriors. I would be very surprised if you see. I don't think I've seen a warlock since week 2, maybe halfway through week 2. I was so excited about the control warlock list, like day 1. I was having so much fun. I
remember that conversation. You were super stoked.
That's probably my biggest bummer. Like, you know, talking about how the meta has settled and how Demon Hunter has kind of forced out certain archetypes. I'm like, I was just having a great time playing that control warlock deck, and it just dies. It just freaking dies.
I've ran into a couple, but I was playing other control decks, and then I ran into them, and then they ticketus me, and then I get frustrated about ticketus at that point. But it's like, oh, you only played ticketus because I was playing a meme slow deck.
Yeah.
And I just happened to match up against someone who's playing ticketus.
Yeah, my first day, you know, like launch day, you know, the list came across, you know, it came on my radar, and I went and tried it, and I ran into like 3 mages running Cthulhu like in a row. And I was just like, this deck is amazing. I'm just burning their Cthulhu pieces. This is great.
Yeah.
And then,
because Cthulhu,
Demon Hunter got figured
out.
No
one can play Cthulhu.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah. But the dude Paladin has been, I mean, we've been talking about HS Replay a lot today. Like, it's knocking on what they consider tier 1's door. It's right there under Totem Shaman. Even though there's 4 out of the 6 decks in their tier 1 have the word Hunter in the name. But it's 2 classes being represented. It's okay.
Well, there is one other deck that I want to talk about because Dekkster, you mentioned it, and I haven't come up across it yet. And I am notoriously terrible at playing like super big combo decks. So you mentioned the ETC OTK deck. Do you mind, like, since we've got you here, can you like walk us through how that deck actually works?
I haven't actually played it, but I've played against it a lot. Basically, they use ETC as an OTK. It's in the name. So they throw out, they have ETC on the board, right? That's 2 mana. They hit them with a pen flinger.
It's a pen flinger thing.
You hit them with your own pen flinger, and then you use 2 Bloodsworn Mercenaries on your ETC. So you make more ETCs, and then you can rush them with the broomstick, meaning everything has rush now. So you got a pen flinger, 3 ETCs, and 2 Bloodsworn Mercenaries. And then your opponent needs to have minions on the board, and then you ram in your mercenary, and it's going to do 6 damage. Then you ram in your other mercenary, it's going to do 6 damage. You ram in your pen, it's going to do 6. The broomstick, it's going to do 6. 1 ETC, it's going to do 6. The other ETC will do 4, and the other one will do 2. So I didn't math that, but that's how much damage.
It sounds and usually like a lot.
Usually that'll kill someone. And then you think, okay, well, maybe I just won't play minions because then they can't rush into anything. That's why they have Rattlegore. So they throw Rattlegore down. Rattlegore takes a little damage, and then you start duplicating him with your mercenary. So if you don't die to ETC, you die to Rattlegore, which I love Rattlegore because he yells his name every time.
Yeah.
I'm noticing a thread all the way back to your mention of Pokemon earlier in the episode.
Yeah. They do yell their name. Just like Rattlegore. That's why I love him. Hey, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
But you usually don't see ETC unless you're in like high ranks. I think 1, because it's really hard to play. And 2, because its best matchup seems to be Demon Hunter, I think. And the higher rank you get up, the more Demon Hunters you see. And if you're in high ranks, you're probably good at piloting this, so you're going to see a lot of ETC.
Yeah, last time I looked at it, I think I was looking at Demon Hunters win rates against matchups. So yeah, it has, at least on HS Replay, a 62% win rate against aggro Demon Hunter. So,
but so few games.
Yeah.
What are my filters right now? It's bronze through. Why is it bronze through gold? Why is it doing that?
It defaults to bronze through gold. I don't know why.
There you go. Oh yeah. You go to diamond through legend. You get more games. Still not a lot of games, but again, this is a single one specific deck list. There's a couple different versions of this I've seen going around. I haven't seen it at all.
And I would say the win rate on here is low because it's hard to pilot. if you actually pilot it properly, your win rate's going to be, I think you win against all demon hunters.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, invoke much older warrior deck. We used to see low win rates on patron warrior back in the day, but that deck was insane when piloted correctly. Yeah. So they're gonna get some false positives there from people like me who are like, I can do this,
I was gonna say.
and you just go tank some games because you didn't think it out, and you don't math good. But warrior wise, I've just been seeing Menagerie and Bomb Warrior as the two kind of common versions running around on ladder.
Menagerie. Bomb Warrior, there's a control warrior. There's a control warrior that goes around and kind of just capitalizes on Rattle Gore as opposed to the ETC, and they just put more survivability. That's what I've been seeing more of. I've not been seeing a lot of Menagerie, and I think I saw like one bomb, and I was kind of flustered because why play Bomb Warrior? There's new cards.
I got flustered by a Bomb Warrior today, and I drew like crap. You know what? It was the first time. Today was the first time this expansion I played Paladin. I was just like, I'm just gonna take it out for a spin, see how it feels. I drew terribly, went up against a Bomb Warrior and died to bombs. So it was fun. It's a good time. It was a learning experience, reminding me to stick with my heart and just keep murdering people with Eyesore. But
I haven't played Eyesore in a while, or against an Eyesore.
Yeah, I haven't seen every shaman I've run into in the last week has been some version of Evolve.
It's so good. Yeah.
It's solid. I don't have enough games under my belt. I need to spend more time with it, but it's like real obvious how powerful it can be.
Just get lucky with your Evolves. That's all you gotta do. That's it.
Yeah. What's the 1/1 Warlock card that spawns a big minion? I got that twice today with my Evolved Shaman, but I forget what mana slot it's at. And it's a terrible roll on Evolve.
Is the one that rolls a 9/1 death rattle or whatever?
Well, it's not. It doesn't have a death rattle. I think it has like a battle cry or something because it just totally sucks to get it. But it's a high mana card.
I don't even know.
The Hearthstone podcast classic right now, describing the card but can't remember what it is.
What are the stats? I usually just say the stats.
It's a 1/1, but I can't remember what it does.
It's a 1 mana 1/1?
No, it's not a 1 mana 1/1.
No,
it's a high mana 1/1, but I can't remember the mana cost or the damn card text. I just remember getting mad when I rolled it.
Listen. Blood Herald. Oh, 5 mana 1/1. Blood Herald.
Was that it?
That's probably what it was.
That was probably it. I'm Googling in the background.
10 mana 1/1 bunny with poison.
Yeah. Yes. Oh yeah, the bunny with poison. I saw you. That happened in one of your YouTube videos. I think you got the.
Yeah.
I think it was your Evolve Shaman video. I remember it. I distinctly remember you complaining about Bunny. But
yeah, I never liked Bunny. I made a video on the 10 worst cards, and Bunny I think was the worst card of the set. And people are like, "No, dude, you're gonna run that in N'Zoth." I'm like, "No, you're not."
This show
could play a 10 mana 1/1.
This show got named Anger Chicken because we thought it was hilarious that a card that was considered rare was so bad. So just think, if the show had started now, it could have been called Dark Moon Rabbit. Well,
have awesome. You can make a chicken. I can make a chicken deck work. I think you could totally make a chicken deck work. Have you done it? You should do it for the sake of the podcast.
I don't think we've tried it since original Hearthstone.
Okay, you could definitely do it with Thunder Rhino and like Scavenger's Ingenuity and shooting things, making your chicken big,
chicken grow.
Yeah, and then you could throw it. Can you hit it? You can pen it, and then
you can hit anything with a flinger right now.
With you got pen flinger, so of course you can enrage it.
Yeah, Tundra Rhino, chicken. You pen the chicken. And then you duplicate it with the 3 mana card. No, there's got to be a way. There's a way to do it.
There you go. Next video.
To do it now. Yeah, I have to do it.
But it's probably still nowhere near the damage of ETC OTK.
And it'll die to Demon Hunter in 4 turns. So.
Yes, you won't even. Yeah, you can play your chicken the turn before you die, and not have the mana to combo. That's how that would go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when we previewed Scavenger's Ingenuity, that's like everyone in the chat room was just like, it's good with Angry Chicken.
You can just say it's good and leave off the Angry Chicken.
Yes,
part.
but it's better with literally any other beast.
Yeah, anything else.
Any other beast. So, oh, rad. Well, before we wrap up, we have an email which was not sent in specifically for you, Dekkster, but I figured it was something you could weigh in on, because we touched a little bit on the new quest and Tavern Pass system and whatnot. And it was just refreshing to get a kind of a take or a suggestion on how to improve it that wasn't just, doomsaying. So, folks at home, if you want to write in, it's tacpodcast@gmail.com. If you're a patron, you can just drop us a message in the patron Discord. But Hachikuma wants to know what we think about making the reroll for daily and weekly quests discover a new quest instead of just poofing random extra quests and you having no say from there on out. And he goes on to say, Discover is such a great mechanic. This can permanently remove this quest isn't good, but what if I roll into the next one that sucks anxiety? In Hachikima's words.
I love that idea. I think that's a really good idea. I think it almost makes rerolling fun in a way if you were to do that.
It's very
Yeah, because I mean, I had a quest for Battlegrounds. I was like, I'm not gonna play Battlegrounds. Right, so like I re-roll it, and then it's an arena one, and then it's an arena one, and I'm like, wait, I'm definitely not going to play arena. So I think I re-rolled it the next day, and I got like a duels one or something. Like that's fine. I'll play duels, but discovering would have just bypassed all that. And they'd have to do it in an interesting way where I guess you discover one of equal or less value, because they wouldn't want you to re-roll for something of higher value. But I like that idea.
You can re-roll into higher quests, but I guess discovering again gets rid of some of the RNG of it, right? So
yeah.
I mean, at the moment, I think they could use any help they could get. With shifting public opinion. So in this, while we're already dreaming, let's dream big.
Dude, my dream is subscription-based model. I think that'd be great.
That came up last week.
That came up last week too, actually. Yeah, talking about how much it would have to cost.
Yeah, I came up with our guest last week, and so I'm all right. I want to pull this thread. What do you think? What would be your ideal Hearthstone subscription model?
I think maybe I'm willing to pay like $40 a month, and that's cheaper than anything for a whole collection probably costs $300 ish, maybe. Sorry, not a whole collection, a whole set, one set.
Yeah,
and then there's sometimes six sets in rotation. That's a lot of money. So I think if you were to pay $20 sounds good to me, but they're not going to agree with that. So maybe like 30 to 40 is more realistic.
I was going to say, I was on the $30 train.
Yeah, I think 30 to 40, you get the whole set. And you can play any card. You have access to all the cards. You can play whatever you want. I think they could even do like a premium one where you pay $50-$60 a month and maybe you get gold cards. Maybe, that's okay.
Oh my God. I kind of wish you hadn't said that, because I was like, okay, yeah, $30 a month. I can justify that. I can wrap my head around it. It's cheaper than the pre-orders that I buy. I'm like, but there's no way that I would pay more than $30 a month. And then you're like, but what if they gave you a golden collection? I'm like, damn it. I guess I'm in for 60. Thanks, Dekkster.
Yeah. I think
we just found out that Joss would put dubs on her car.
I don't even know what that means, but it sounds insulting. So I'm going to be insulted.
Well, that way they can keep the whales paying a lot of money. Like I'm a whale. I pay again, $100 to $300 per expansion. For me, it's a tax write-off, so it's kind of okay. For other people, that's not okay. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So subscription might be fine. Like on the friend topic, trying to get my friends to come and play. They're like, I'm not going to pay $40-$50 for a pre-order, and I can play maybe one deck if I'm lucky. But I'm like, okay, but would you pay $30 a month and maybe just play a couple months out of the year? And they're like, yeah. So that kind of gets rid of the barrier to entry. So I like that a lot. I think that'd be really good. And they can do more things where you can pay for God, what's it called? The aesthetics stuff. I don't know, like different
like hero portraits and stuff like that, or alternative
yeah,
art.
like, yeah, stuff like that. Like get to pay for different coins, pay for different card fronts, pay for more card backs, like stuff that doesn't matter.
Cosmetics, skins, custom art, that
that's
type of
the word.
stuff.
Cosmetics.
Okay.
That's
Oh, okay.
cosmetics. Yeah. So paying for cosmetics is good on top of this subscription. I don't think the subscription should give you all the cosmetics, but I do like the gold card idea.
Yeah, I would be very, 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 very tempted by a subscription that was like, hey, have every single card and make them shiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and then I would have a shiny coin every time too. And then I could have a shiny custom coin. Oh, damn. Okay, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm really easy to please.
Just sold Jocelyn on this thing that doesn't exist.
Yeah,
but it would
that
be
doesn't
so cool
exist.
if it did.
Yeah.
It'd be so cool if it did. These are the interesting conversations, I think, that are coming out of the focus on the new free to play model that I find really interesting, because for the longest time, and I was part of this, I was happy to just be like, compared to Magic, which I used to play, Hearthstone's cheap as hell. But why do we need to? We don't have to compare it to physical card games. It doesn't have to be confined by that,
Right.
So it's
I mean, I think a good thing about this happening is that we don't want it to go back to what it was. We want it to get better than what it was. I think it's just kind of, I hope it invoked something within the community where we strive for something better, as opposed to just going back to the old system.
Well, and I think that's where the conversations really need to go, right? Is that you don't necessarily it's one thing to be angry at Blizzard and you're completely entitled to your feelings and to say like, hey, this is too expensive for me now and I want to walk away from the game, or this is too expensive, I really don't like it. Okay, that's great. But what's next? What's your suggestion? How do you fix it? What do you want? Like, those are where I think the interesting conversations come in, because even an hour ago, I wouldn't have said no, I wouldn't pay $50-$60 to Blizzard. And now you've convinced me, I would pay $50-$60 to Blizzard. I think that there's a lot of really interesting ideas. And I think our community is very creative. And there's all kinds of people doing all kinds of things in Hearthstone content that are making custom cards or thinking outside the box in ways that they'd like to play and new game modes they'd like to see. I think we can absolutely take all the creativity in the community and apply it to this problem and come up with some really, really interesting solutions that just make the game better to play. Because for me, what I would like to see is people who like to jump around to a whole bunch of different game modes feel like they're getting super rewarded. And I think things like Hachikumo's email saying, hey, discover a quest. If I decide I'm done playing Constructed for the day and I'm like, hey, I want to go play BGs, let me push a button that'll give me a quest where I can say, oh, there we go, BG quest, perfect, let's go. Things like that, I think, are solutions to problems that people are seeing with the way that we're currently rewarded for Hearthstone. And the more solutions we put before Blizzard, that's where the constructive criticism comes in. And I think that's really important. But just the pitchforks isn't really helping.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Some interesting. We've gone in interesting directions today. I like this. I love that you brought up subscription model, because we hadn't talked. I don't think we ever mentioned it on the show, and it came up last week just randomly because of our guests, and then here it came up again. So it's a fascinating thought to consider Hearthstone with that type of business model. But but yeah, I think this is as good a place as ever to kind of bring this to an end here. Hachikumo, thank you for your question, folks listening. If you want to write in, tacpodcast@gmail.com. That's where you can send your emails. Again, patrons, you can drop us a message directly in the patron Discord and skip the inbox entirely. But yeah, that's going to bring us to the end of the show. Speaking of our patrons, thank you again for the support, everybody. If you're out there, you like the show, you like what we're doing, you want to support the show, check it out over at patreon.com/TAC. Huge thanks to our producers, by the way, Declan H, Cheesy Bob, Lord of the Cup. Thank you very much for your generous support. And this episode and every single other one we've ever done, you want to listen to 393 other episodes of this Hearthstone podcast, check out amove.tv. It's all over there. I don't know why you would want to do that. You'd be hearing about a meta from the beta of the game. It probably wouldn't be all that helpful.
Yeah, don't do that.
But yeah, you know, you can do it. But before we go, Dekkster, you're our guest today. If folks are unfamiliar with where they can find you, either on YouTube, Twitch, etc., where can people find you?
My YouTube is Dekkster. I think it might be Dekkster Gaming. Oh God, I should know these things.
It was a trick question.
Dekkster, and then also on Twitch, I'm Dekkster. I do day streams. I guess I'm doing night streams now too. We'll see how long that lasts. And then Twitter, Dekkster Gaming, and Instagram, Dekkster. I think is that it? That's it.
So I went to Dekkster Gaming on YouTube and it came up, but chat room saying it's just Dekkster.
Okay.
But,
well, my name is Dekkster, but my URL is Dekkster Gaming on YouTube.
Okay. Well, there you go. Again, Dekkster.
Yeah, that's the one.
Spell it right. But, yeah, I really dig your content, dude. And I know we were trying not to beat a dead horse because we've talked about the recent controversy quite a bit the last few weeks, but you've got a really great video up on that, as well as an absurd amount of deck overviews. If anyone's out there a little bored with what you're playing, I can't recommend it enough. So
thank you.
Everyone go check that out. Jocelyn, what about yourself? Where can everyone find you when you're not just hanging out here with me on the Angry Chicken?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch. I'm at Joss Plays. That's JOCE Plays. And also, as I've been saying for months, but I'm going to keep on banging this drum till the end of December. Go and check out our Extra Life campaign. We're raising money for the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. We're doing really great so far. I just upped my goal again because you guys have been so generous. So we're going to do a couple more streams before the end of the year. If you'd like to support the campaign, go to bit.ly/TGI Extra Life 2020 and support anyone. You don't have to support me. You can support anyone on the team. But yeah, again, that is bit.ly/TGI Extra Life 2020, supporting the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals.
Folks, I'm Garrett Art on Twitter. You can go check me out over there, amove.tv for this podcast and every single other one that I produce. Just put out a new WoW killer today. Talked all about Shadowlands. I am enjoying that. And it might be affecting my performance in Hearthstone a little bit. Just a little bit. But it turns out...
Wait. What's your covenant?
I surprisingly went with Ardenweald. Didn't see that one coming.
Yes!
Yeah.
Yes!
I really... Hey, turns out...
I got so excited I pulled my headphones out.
I keep calling them by the zones. I know that's not what the covenants are actually called, but turns out...
What's covenant?
You choose a thing. Once you hit max level, there's 4...
it was like Aldor and
sort of,
and
yeah.
Scryers, kind of a little bit.
Did you play Legion at all?
I did.
It's kind of like your class order hall campaign, but you get to choose which one you join. And there's 4 of them, and you get two unique abilities based on which one you join. So I ended up going with like the pretty forest fairy folk, which I did not see coming because there's a race of scary, terrifying skeleton people, but I hate their ability. I can't stand it. It's not fun at all. So I'd rather on a warrior have like a second AoE stun. So I went with
that sounds okay.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun, man. So check out WoW Killer. Check out amove.tv. We're going to be talking about Hogger coming in the Heroes of the Storm on Into the Nexus this week. So check out me doing way too many Blizzard podcasts. amove.tv. Check it out. That's going to wrap it up for this episode. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you again, Dekkster, for joining us. And until next week, job's done.
Job's done. I had no F-bomb timestamps. I'm so disappointed.
I'm so disappointed, too. I was going to ask you.
Control myself. I was going to say it sometimes. I was like, I'll make editing easy. I just won't.
We got timestamps. It's easy enough. It's easy enough for sure. But now I was gonna ask you at the end, but I was like, we've already kept them for the maximum amount of time I warned you we were gonna keep it for. So, but I'm like now I'm a little bit curious. What gets you passionate enough in Hearthstone to make you drop an F-bomb?
Demon Hunters. Playing against Demon Hunters.
Okay, so if you had dropped an F-bomb, so that I really appreciate you actually keeping it controlled then, because if you had dropped an F-bomb in regards to Demon Hunter, Jocelyn would have just never stopped dropping F-bombs in regards to Demon Hunter. Yeah. And I would have gotten at the friend of the show and been like, hey, everybody, I just wanted to drop a fucking warning. There's a lot of fucks in this episode.
Also, we're still live on the stream. Is this normal?
Yeah. We kind of, we wind down. Okay. Yeah, so if you were gonna like,
we can cuss on stream.
Yes, yeah. I just try to keep it out of like the proper recording.
Okay.
Anyone who's ever actually watched me play games like knows like I cuss like a fucking sailor when I'm actually playing games.
Okay. Oh my god, I want to play WoW. I think. So this is the thing.
We are the wrong two people to talk you out of it because we both.
No, play. I know. Well, I used to be an addict myself. So. When I've tried playing games besides Hearthstone in the past, like good games, I start enjoying games, right? And then I don't want to play Hearthstone anymore. I'm like, oh man, I'd rather play WoW, or I'd rather play, I don't know, Counter-Strike or whatever than play Hearthstone. But then I have to force myself to stream it anyway, because that's my source of income. But when I'm playing it, I'm not even thinking about it. I guess it's almost like having a job, right?
I was going to say, it's like you have to go to work.
You are describing. Yeah. I mean, that's like, God, I want to have you back on and just do like a content creation discussion because like I'm picking up on everything you're putting down. But like, it's
Hades. Oh God.
Dude,
Hades. I played a lot of Hades. So when I found when I was like playing Hades, for example, I think that's the most recent thing I was addicted to.
I've never been madder at Ridiculous Hat than for convincing me to buy Hades. That game should be a controlled substance.
Yeah.
That is a dangerous.
So like after stream, I would just play Hades. And it's like I guess I sacrificed myself. I'm sounding like it's just a job.
But at times it is. It's the reality of content creation. Like if you're trying,
I think the problem is it's visible and it's people can pick up on it. They're like, oh, this guy's not really enjoying Hearthstone as much because he just wants to go play Hades. And then while I'm streaming, I'm also talking about Hades. I'm like, oh my God, I got the best boons. I want to go finish my run and like stuff like that. And it's like, dude, like we just want to watch Hearthstone, you know? So, but I might succumb to WoW. It might happen.
Burnout is a
one
real
of
thing
us.
that I think everyone goes through. And if I truly do believe that if someone says they don't, they are bold-faced lying to you. If they're a content creator and they say they don't go through burnout, like it's just gonna happen.
No, it happens, but you also gotta strike when the iron's hot at the same time, and it's like a fine line. Like if you're seeing growth, exponential growth, I think you got to risk the burnout and then pull back at some point. And then, like with Hearthstone, it's ebbs and flows. Like when an expansion comes out, like you got to go in. I sleep 4 hours a day for like 2 weeks and I just try and make as much content as I can, get as much growth as I can. And then once people are like, you know what? It's like the meta is the same. It's just Demon Hunter. And then they leave, viewership goes down. I'm like, all right, maybe I'll do one stream a day instead. Or maybe I'll do a video every other day instead or something like that. So
that's cool that works for you. I find that interesting because it's, I guess like you're still being consistent, even if you're like making less content. It's not like you're like going weeks between putting stuff out. So you're still tapped in and you're still staying in front of people.
Yeah.
Well, rad. Well, chat, I'm going to actually bring the stream down now. Thanks for hanging. Ridiculous Hat, don't remind me about Hades.
I love you, chat.
I have enough games to play. So have a good one, everybody. Bye now. See you next week.